Hello everybody, what's going on? In this tutorial, I want to create a LinkedIn crawler. We will set up our project and prepare our login function in the first part. So we will be able to log in to LinkedIn successfully. In the next part, we will get new posts from feeds of the account. In this project, we will use SQLite as our database, Redis as a message broker, and cache, Docker to set up the project, Firefox as our browser, and Celery for asynchronous tasks. Okay guys, so let me start the project by creating a new directory for this project. So I'm going to my projects directory and then create a new directory named crawler, and let me open VS Code in the directory. And let me open the full screen mode. And now I want to initialize Git in it. Okay, so first I want to add a Docker Compose file. So I want to use Docker for starting the project or for setting the project, because Docker is a I think most easiest tool to run a project, so other users can easily set up the project and run the project, and if they want they can easily make contributions to this project. So I want to add Docker Compose. First I want to create a Django service, so I'm going to name it crawler Django, and the container name also crawler Django. And I want to use a Docker file to build its image, so I'm going to add a Docker file here. And for base image I'm going to use a Python 3.10 and Alpine distribution. Alpine distribution has a minimum size in comparison of other distributions, so I will use that. And then I'm going to install some basic packages in this distribution. So Python 3 dev and libpq. I think these packages are enough. And I also want to set a working directory, so I want to use /app as a work directory. And then I'm going to copy requirements.txt to requirements.txt. So as you know, we also need a requirements.txt file here. So I want to use Django package, and also I'm going to use Celery for asynchronous tasks, and also we need Redis package because Celery will use Redis for message broker and transferring messages between bit and worker. So okay, so this copy command will copy requirement txt file to the /app requirement txt. So this command will make following commands run in the /app directory. Then I'm going to install requirements.txt. Okay, I think at this point this will be enough, and let me build image by docker compose up command. So as you can see, it's recreated, and because in the past I had some tests and I had built this image, so it's recreated successfully, but because we haven't any command, it exited. So I'm going to add some command here. I'm going to use a sleep command, and for 100 seconds. So I use this command because I want to have time to get into the container and install a Django app. So I use 100 seconds, and I think it will be enough. And also I'm going to map volumes. So I want to map current directory to the /app, our working directory. So let me use up command. So container is up, and I can go into that. So I will be use a docker ps to get the name of a container. So the name of container is here. So docker exec -it crawler Django hash. So now we are in the container, and then I'm going to use Django admin command, the Django command. So I'm going to start a project named crawler. So as you can see, the project created in the crawler directory, and now okay, let me close this, and now also let me stop docker compose here. So now we can use because we have installed Django, we have started a Django project in the container. Now we have its files, and we can use a Python run server. So app crawler manage.py and run server, and in the port 80. Okay, let me check that. So we successfully installed and set up our Django project. Let me commit these files in our Git repo. So let me stop that, and I want to add a git ignore here to ignore a db SQLite file. So SQLite 3. Okay, and also I want to ignore bytecodes, I mean PyCache directory. So I think it will be enough. Okay, so now I'm going to add these files to our source controller. Okay, now we have successfully set up our Django project. Let me go back to the Docker Compose, and we need another service. We need Redis as a message worker here, and so I'm going to create a crawler Redis service, and I will use a most recent image of Redis here, 7.04, and also all point distribution. So let me check if everything is working correctly. Okay, so Redis also created, and now I want to add our celery services here. So we will have a bit service and worker service. So let me create its services, crawler bit, and container name crawler bit, and I also want to use a Docker file to build this image, and command will be shell -c, and we should go to the app and crawler, and there we can run our bit application. So celery -a crawler and bit -l error. So logging level will be error, and also I should map volume. Okay, let me, so it will we will have error because we have not created a celery file yet. So let me create a celery file here, and So we need import OS, and from celery module import celery, and from Django conf import settings. And I want to set environment variable, default value to Django settings module crawler settings. So celery will be read Django setting modules, and we need specify its value. So let's create celery application and name it crawler, and also get config from object Django conf settings, and also we want to able to auto discover tasks from installed apps. So in the future, if we create new tasks file in the different apps, it will be automatically recognize those tasks. So auto discover tasks lambda settings that installed apps. And also we want to automatically load celery application when our Django application started. So from .celery we want to import app. Okay, let me check our changes. So going to Docker Compose. Actually, I'm not seeing crawler bit messages here. Sorry. Okay, I changed log level to info, so I can see the logs from bit. So it says that bit starting. Now we should specify some of the required settings or variables for the celery. So for example, we should specify address of the Redis, and celery, so broker URL. Celery will read a message broker address from this variable, so we should set its value. So this is the name of the container that we created here, and okay, and also port 63 and 79. going to specify result backend. It has same value, and also celery accept content application JSON, and celery task serializer. It will be JSON, and celery result serializer. It also will be JSON. Okay, let me test if celery bit messages has changed. So now I want to add our worker here. So worker also will have same service, similar service to the bit service. So let me change bit names to the worker. Okay, now let me run. So as you can see, it says that celery worker is ready to get requests, get asynchronous tasks. So let me commit these changes. Actually, I want to add this file to gitignore. So let me add it to gitignore, because we will not not require it. Okay, so the source control panel, I want all changes. Add celery bit and worker services. Okay. Okay, now I want to do a port mapping here. So I want to have access to the port 80 of the container or our Django app. So I do a mapping between 80, 25 and 80. So let me hit Docker Compose up again, and now I can go to the admin panel. So here we have admin panel, and let me create a super user. So I'm going to docker exec-it. I'm going to the Django container and use a Django admin command to create a super user. So I think the container name is crawler Django ash. Okay, we have a typo here. Now we are in the container, and I'm going to use manage py create super user, create super user. Actually, before that I should migrate database. So I have migrated database, and I can use create super user, and so I created the super user here, and okay, now we have our Django project, and we can go to the Django admin panel. So let me commit these changes with do a port mapping for crawler Django container, and okay, so okay, now I want to add a Firefox browser to our Docker Compose services. So we will use this browser to log into our LinkedIn account and get new posts from our feeds. So I'm going to name it crawler Firefox. Container name will also have same name, crawler Firefox, and image will be Selenium. So let me get latest version of the Firefox. So Docker hops Selenium. I want to know what is the latest version of Selenium Firefox. So I want to use a standalone Firefox here. I think I should get it from their GitHub page. Let me check their GitHub page, and okay, so let me check the Docker Hub again. Selenium standalone Firefox. Okay, so I think if I just use Selenium / standalone Firefox will be enough. So I'm going to use that stand alone Firefox. So let me rebuild our services. So docker compose up, and it will be get that image from Docker Hub. So it will takes some time to complete that action. So let me pause the recording. Okay, now we successfully pulled a crawler Firefox browser. So now I'm going to the now I want to create an app. So I'm going to the Django container, and in the crawler python manage.py, and I want to use start app command. Python manage start app link thing. So first I want to create a LinkedIn app, and then I'm going to create a tasks file, and here I want to define, first of all I want to define login function. So first we need to log into the account. Before that we need to add Selenium package to our requirement.txt file. So let me add Selenium here, and then I'm going to rebuild our containers. Also maybe we we need a request package here, request, and I think these are the only packages that currently we need. So let me build the image by these new packages, and it takes some time. So let me pause the recording. Okay, it successfully rebuilt the image. So the other thing that we need add here is a ports mapping. So I want to map port 4444 to 4444. So Firefox will listen in this port, and in the local host I will use also that port. I think actually I think we don't need this port mapping, because we want to request that port from other container, not from host. So let me add tasks here. So first let me check if the task or celery works. So let me go to the Django container and crawler, going to the crawler directory, python manage. I'm going to use shell, Django shell, to test our task. Okay, you can see that login is executed without any error. So now I'm going to import a WebDriver from Selenium, and I want to create a Firefox or browser driver here. And use remote section. So this crawler Firefox is our container name, and it listens in the 4444 port. Let me check it. And I think we have some problem here. Maybe we need that port mapping here. So let me test it again. Stop the Docker Compose and run it again. Okay. Now going to the crawler Django. Container and run shell command. No, I think the problem is something else. So let me add desired capabilities here from Selenium WebDriver. Common desired capabilities, import desired capabilities, and I'm going to use Firefox desired capabilities. So let me test it again. Okay, so the problem was we need to specify a browser here. So let me remove port section. I thought that probably it is needed for crawler to work, and let me test it. Actually, sorry, I deleted. And docker compose done or stopped. Docker compose and docker compose up. Okay, now I want to go to the docker exec crawler Django hash shell Python. Sorry, we have some typo here. From LinkedIn tasks import login. Okay, we successfully won that. Now I'm going to I want to go to the login page. So login page is https www.linkedin.com/login, and let me run it again. Okay, so one interesting thing that we can do is to see what's happening in the Firefox browsers. To do that, we should use port 7900. So I'm going to port to do a port mapping here. So in this port we can see what's happening in the browser. So let me up the containers and going to the Django container and run the login function. So now I want to go to the so the password is secret. The default password is secret, and you can see that we have opened the login page. So it was successful. And let me commit these changes. So we add Firefox services and Selenium requests packages, and also we added a LinkedIn app. So let me add all of them, feed and add a Firefox service to Docker Compose with add a LinkedIn app. Okay, so let me go back to the login function and continue our work. So in the tasks file, so we successfully reached out to the login page, and now I want to find these elements. So use actually username section or username input. So as you can see, this input has username ID. Also we have a password input with ID password. So let me use their ID to locate them. So okay, let me name it email element, or actually name it username element. And driver find element ID and username. So we want to find element by ID key, and value is a username, and we want to send this element our username, for example a random username here, and then we want to find password element. So I'm just copy this. Okay, so then I want to hit enter when our cursor is in the password element. So if the username and password was correct, we can then it will successfully log in to the network. Okay, let me actually let me stop the Docker Compose, and you can see that we have lost connection to the monitoring tool. And let me up again, and then I'm going to container, so crawler, and Python manage shell, and import the login function. Okay, now I want to see what's happening in the okay, so you can see that the function enter the email or username and password, and it actually enter or submit the username and password and get this error message. And okay, so the function was correctly works. The function correctly works, and we should specify correct username and password. To do that, I want to use a specific package named Django environment. So I want to store my username and password in the environment file. Actually, I want to rebuild image because I added a new package to it. And I want to add .nb file here. So I want to add my credential here. And I'm going to import I'm going to add actually I want to import environ package, and then I want to create environ object. Now what's happening here? Okay, so we successfully rebuilt the image, and now and let me read these two variables from what we named it, LinkedIn email. Okay, now I'm going to read these environment variables from .nb file. Let me run docker compose up another time. So we have some problem here, actually, because we need to add a .env file here. So our Django app needs it, and also worker needs it. Okay, let me test it another time. We also have a problem, actually. Crawler bit also needs it. Now it seems every service works correctly. So now I want to specify my username and password here. So I want to pause recording and add my username and password here, and I want to make sure that .env file also added to git ignore, so it will not publish it to the repo. Okay, so let me pause the recording, and then I will add my username and password here. Okay, now I added the credential to the env file. So let me go to the tasks, and actually I want to run again it. So let me go to the Django container and cd crawler and python manage PyShell, and from LinkedIn tasks import login. So let me execute that function and going to the so it's open. Sorry, I forget to change these variables. So we want to read this data from our setting variables. So let me import from Django conf import settings, and settings linked in username and linked in password. Okay, let me exit and run again shell. Okay, let me check in the I think we should stop the Docker compose and run it again. So at this moment, so let me stop and run it again. Okay, so I'm going to container and crawler, actually Python manage shell from linkedin.tasks import login log. Okay, as you can see, it entered the credentials and successfully log into my LinkedIn account. So let me add these changes to our source control. Yes, it was okay. Yes, we added .env file. Yes, we added Django environment. Yes, so feed add Django environment for reading credentials from env file. Okay, so at this stage we can successfully log into our LinkedIn account, and in the next part we will get a new post from our feed section.